going to make a protein power bowl. In fact, we're gonna build it. And I created this recipe, or this sort of step-by-step build a bowl, in response to the question, where do you get your protein? So that's definitely a question that comes up a lot when you discuss a plant-based diet with people who aren't eating a plant-based diet. And really the answer is, I get my protein from all the foods that I eat. And that's because the original source of protein is not actually animal flesh, it's plants. And what is protein but a collection of amino acids? So lysine, leucine, arginine, tryptophan, all these amino acids, when they're together at the same time, they create a complete protein. Now, I believe that the meat, the fish, the eggs, those are kind of like the middleman, because those guys had to eat the plants first to get their protein. As you see, if you watch the Game Changers documentary trailer, one of the plant-based athletes is asked, how can you get as strong as an ox without eating meat? And he replies, have you ever seen an ox eating meat? Perfect, I love that so much because it's true. Our strongest animals in the world, they get their protein from plants. So let's build this bowl. Now, if you're curious about basically, okay, I understand, you need all those amino acids at the same time to create a complete protein. Well, you don't need them every meal. You need them every day, every second day. And if you eat a variety of plants, you will inevitably get all those amino acids. Now, high protein plants, those are things like lentil sprouts, beans, legumes, hemp hearts, for example. Now, they're high protein, and all that really means is that there are more amino acids at a higher level than some other plants. But every single plant, even potatoes, have protein in them. So let's start our power bowl. We're gonna start with 3 things for the base: greens, beans, and pseudo grains. So as you've learned so much in this module, you know exactly what pseudo grains are. So greens could be anything, as you know, from kale, baby spinach, bok choy, arugula, Swiss chard. I've got some baby spinach here. Then we've got our beans. Now I've used black beans, but there are like 20 kinds of beans, chickpeas, lentils included. So really, you have like so many options just here with these 2 things. Then pseudo grains. I've chosen an organic brown rice. This is a cooked element. We could also use quinoa, we could also use amaranth, buckwheat, wild rice. So again, so many options. We've got our greens, we've got our pseudo grain, which is the rice. And again, you can put as much as you want for your body and how you feel. Now you're probably thinking, because if you've been studying with me, isn't beans and grains a bad food combination? The answer technically is yes. Now, if you have a really strong digestive system, normally the food combining isn't much of an issue. But if you're suffering from any digestive discomfort, and if you're a little bit more elderly and the enzymes are diminishing, there's a few things that you can do. So the first thing that we do is we add digestive spices. So the digestive spices that we've added to the beans are cumin, cayenne, and a little pinch of cinnamon. So these 3 spices are gonna help with digestion. Another huge thing that helps with digestion is if you make your beans at home, okay? So I'll give you a quick tip. This is a huge tip, it's very important. So what do you see here? This seems a little weird, doesn't it? Okay, these are black beans that have been soaking overnight. So that is number 1, soak, right? We learned all about that. Soak your beans, your nuts, your seeds. So same thing goes with black beans before you cook them, okay? I don't recommend eating black beans sprouted. They're better cooked. But if you have trouble with beans whatsoever, number 1, you wanna soak them overnight, absolutely. The second thing that you wanna do is you wanna soak them with kombu. This is a seaweed. It's an incredibly mineral-rich seaweed, so we're infusing minerals into our beans. Not only that, but it helps break down the cell wall of the protein of the beans, so it becomes more bioavailable, less gas as well. And that's been soaking overnight, but this is what it looks like when it's dried. So the white coating is actually sea salt. So the kombu's been cut, it's been packaged. I purchased it dry. You can get it from Asian markets. I like to get mine from omfoods.com, Canadian company. You can look at thrivemarket.com if you're American. But there's many places that you can find dried seaweed. All your beans, your chickpeas, even lentils, soak with kombu ahead of time. Let's add some colorful vegetables. So we're gonna add some tomato. I also added a bit of tomato and some onion to the beans just to give it a little bit more flavor apart from the spices. Orange pepper. So I'm just going for a variety of color here. An amazing addition. Again, I love these little lentil sprouts. They're so high in protein and they're so high in other nutrients as well. Lots of vitamin C, minerals. Okay, staple. For the trifecta trio, this is what Pachavega recommends every day: seaweed, sauerkraut, and sprouts. So we've got those sprouts on there. They're the most protein-rich sprout. We're gonna add some radish microgreens. So these would be considered sprouts as well. We're going to add a little bit of chia. So seaweed. So the seaweed that we're gonna add, well, not only is there seaweed in our beans, but we're going to add a blend of dulse, wakame, and sea lettuce. And this is just a blended mix of seaweeds. So we put that on there. Okay, provides a nice flavor as well as, like I've already learned, so many minerals. And then sauerkraut. So when I say, seaweed, sauerkraut, sprouts, when I say sauerkraut, really what I mean is a fermented food. So that could be cashew cheese, fermented cashew cheese, could be kimchi. So good. So we're gonna add a whole dollop of kimchi. Yay! Okay. If we're considering a bit of garnish, we've got some fresh elements. We've got a sour element, which would be the kimchi, and salty. Let's add a bit of crunch. So add a couple of these crackers. And of course, we cannot forget, it is all about the sauce. This dressing is called the protein-rich power dressing. And I didn't show you how to make it here because it is so easy to make. All you do is throw all the ingredients into a blender and blend it up. And it's got basil, it's got nutritional yeast, it has hemp hearts, olive oil, apple cider vinegar, and spirulina, which is another algae. It is super high in protein, so let's add that to our incredible meal. Oh, doesn't that look amazing? Nothing is missing from this protein-rich power bowl. So I invite you to make your own. Switch up the different vegetables, switch up your beans or legumes. Try this amazing dressing and it will be so delicious in your mouth. You'll want to share it with all your friends. You'll be jumping up and down like I do on a regular basis with this delicious food.